an example of disinformation quite as crude and as see-through as this one. And once again, it shows more than ever the need for independent media, the need for outlets like Double Down News. And I would urge you to support Double Down News through Patreon. So the violence around the Maccabi Tel Aviv Ajax Amsterdam game has been sort of universally portrayed around the world as being an anti-Semitic pogrom. In fact, what it is an absolutely case study, a textbook study in disinformation. Now, let's make our focus here a very specific bit of footage. If you watch certainly the initial reports from the BBC, The Guardian, CNN and other outlets, they all rely very heavily on a specific bit of footage of individuals in the street being attacked by a mob of hooded men.
Crowds of people assaulted Israeli fans after Thursday night's match.
Vicious attacks upon people purely because they're Israelis and Jews.
Now that footage was shot by a local citizen journalist called Annette de Graaf, who I've spoken to quite a bit over the last few days. Her footage does not show Israeli fans being attacked at all. In fact, it shows the precise opposite. The mobs of hooded figures we see in that footage are Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. If you look very carefully at Annette's footage, you can see that a number of individuals are wearing blue and yellow, which are the Maccabi colours. The people they are attacking are individual Dutch citizens. Annette goes online. She starts having to interact with various news agencies, pleading with them to change the way they are using her own footage. Firstly, Reuters, terribly important because Reuters provides footage to other news organisations around the world. With the footage, what Reuters distributes is a thing called a dope sheet. This is a basic explanation to their clients of what they're looking at, what this footage is. Now, Annette spoke to Reuters at enormous length very early in the morning on the Friday, the day after the violence, and explained to them, gave them chapter and verse, told them exactly what this was. Now, I've obtained a copy of the Reuters dope sheet for this one. It begins, clashes broke out outside Amsterdam Central Station in the early hours of Friday, November the 8th, in what Israeli authorities said was an attack targeting Israeli citizens. Their opening line, despite what Anna has told them, continues to frame it with the Maccabi fans as being the victims here. It then does address what Annette had told them. An eyewitness at the scene claims these people are fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv. However, Reuters cannot independently verify this claim. Now that is quite extraordinary. She's not an eyewitness at the scene. She is the originator of the material. And she's not guessing. She had been following this mob of hooligans for a quarter of an hour. She knows damn well who they are. So what they've done here is an absolute classic bit of obfuscation. They've got a bit of footage that they're distributing to the world's media, which shows Israeli football hooligans attacking Dutch citizens, and they are presenting it to the world's media as, hey, who knows? It could be this, it could be that. Even more astonishing example of this totally dishonest obfuscation is Sky News. A woman called Alice Porter, a reporter for Sky News, produces a very unusual report. It absolutely stands out from all the other reporting, not because it's an exceptional bit of journalism, it's a bog-standard bit of journalism. It's an accurate description of what had happened in Amsterdam. And within hours, it was taken down, and Sky re-edited it and put it up again with a note saying the previous version did not meet their standards for balance and impartiality. And the most striking bit is they continue to use Annette's footage. In her original piece, Alice Porter had said,
Maccabi fans were seen attacking locals as a police car can be seen driving by.
By the time you get to the re-edited version, that script line has become...
A video posted on social media shows a large group of hooded men dressed in black running down the street and striking people at random.
What has happened there, Sky News, who know perfectly well what this footage shows and had originally accurately reported it, is now pretending that it doesn't know, basically to lie to their viewers. And it's rather sad, actually, to see that Alice Porter was prepared to revoice this. You know, here you have the one journalist who'd done a bit of honest, competent professional journalism on the Saturday morning, and by the Sunday she's clearly been bullied into revoicing it. Important context here, of course, is that the Sky News presenter Bella Donati rather aggressively interviewed an Israeli representative quite early in the war in Gaza and immediately disappeared from Sky News screens. So that will be something that will have been hanging over Alice Porter's head, no doubt, but it's rather sad that she did feel prepared to read that new script line. This misrepresentation of Annette's footage is all the more startling because there was a second journalist in the same place at the same time who puts the main news organisations to shame. It's a young Dutch boy. He has even more extensive footage than Annette's. You can quite clearly see in his footage that these are Maccabi supporters. They have the colours on. You see them arming themselves, you see them rampaging through the streets, and then you actually see them threatening him and telling him to stop filming. Maccabi Tel Aviv's supporters have a reputation for racism and political violence. In the past, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans have attacked anti-Netanyahu protesters with batons and broken bottles. In March this year, they were filmed beating an Arab man unconscious on the streets of Athens. And on the rare occasions in the past where Maccabi Tel Aviv has signed Arab players, their supporters have actually booed their own players. The last time Maccabi Tel Aviv fans were in Amsterdam, they sang a notorious song about their rivals, which actually refers to raping people. What happens in Amsterdam is large numbers of them turn up, attack locals. The Dutch police say they were tearing down Palestinian flags, burning Palestinian flags. They also attacked and destroyed a taxi. Large numbers of them were filmed singing "Let the IDF win and fuck the Arabs." This is a song which ends with the line, "Why is there no school in Gaza? Because there are no children." This is at the end of a year when upwards of 15,000 Palestinian children have been killed by the Israeli army in Gaza. Then after the game, there are clashes between Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters and local Dutch people in the streets of Amsterdam. Immediately, this is headline news around the world. In the early reporting, certainly, no context is provided at all. It's simply presented as mobs of anti-Semites attacking Israeli football fans.
This is a disturbing story, Charlie. Israel condemning what is being described as a Jew hunt.
The Israeli military says it's preparing to immediately deploy a rescue mission to the Netherlands.
Indeed, there's even another unconfirmed report that there could be a hostage situation now taking place.
And what is extraordinary is virtually all of the Western world's major political leaders who have remained virtually silent for a year in the face of massacre after massacre after massacre of children in the Gaza Strip, weigh in, condemning the violence and portraying it as a pogrom. There are even ludicrous comparisons of it with Kristallnacht. I did as a case study in the misuse of the term anti-Semitism. This must be pretty much the only example in history where gangs of racist football hooligans have found the entirety of the Western media and political establishment leaping to their defense and portraying them as victims. You just have to imagine Russian supporters descending on a town perhaps full of Ukrainian refugees